everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have your favorite here, Mason. This is everybody's favorite dog. He's going to help me out with this video, and it's all going to be about plants and the care of them, and he is already sick of me and trying to leave. You gonna stay for the video? Come on, just stay. So I will be doing a tour. I'll be introducing you to all of my 16 plants that I have in this one bedroom apartment. So that's pretty crazy, and I do have a lot of plants and I love to care for them. So I'm just going to show you how I care for them, introduce you, and show you some of the products that I use and some healthy tips to get your plants living. So with no further ado, let's get started. See, this is where I keep most of my plants. Hi, May May. There. He's just standing there. He looks not real. But I keep them all here for a reason. As you can see, it's super sunny. I have my patio window. I have a double window here and then a single window here in the living room. And so this is where the most light gets. I do have a double window in my bedroom, but I sleep during the day a lot and I'm a big time napper. So I just like for it to be constantly dark in there. So I stopped keeping plants in there because it just was a little bit of a hassle. So when it comes to taking care of plants, it's not difficult as long as you stay in a routine. Typically for me, my plant care days are like Monday or Tuesday because that's typically when I'm off of work. My schedule changes all the time. So if you're one of those people who's like me, who doesn't really have a consistent schedule, just find something that works for you. But you need to be doing your plant care at least once a week. And then the second thing is be organized. Have a list of steps that you're going to follow to care for all your plants. And my steps are that I water the plants, I rotate the plants, and then I mist the plants. All in that order. Now, if I have to trim a plant or do some pruning, that kind of comes in whenever I want it to. But for the most part, I don't have to do that every week. So those are the 3 steps that I stick with, and those are the 3 steps that we're going to do today. So now let's go over some materials that you'll need to take care of your plants. One of the first things that you want to get that's super important is to get a gallon pitcher. It's important that it's a gallon, okay? Even if you have one plant, I would still get a gallon because most of the time when you buy a fertilizer, the measurements are per gallon. So 2 teaspoons per gallon or whatever have you. That way that you know that you're measuring out your fertilizer correctly. And speaking of fertilizer, this is my go-to fertilizer. It's called Algo Plus. It's specifically for houseplants. They do have different ones like for flowers and other outdoor plants. This was my first bottle that I ever bought, and it is up to here. Now, of course, I don't fertilize year round. I only fertilize in the spring and summer. But that is how long it lasts, and this cost me I think $14.99 maybe like a year and a half ago, and so it's definitely worth the price because it lasts so long. The third thing you will see me use today is a water meter. Literally, this is a meter that tells me how moist my plants are. Now, I don't use this every day because I just know my plants and what they need, when they need water and when they don't, but I'll show you how that works and how it can be useful to a beginner especially. And these last 2 items are Leaf Shine and just a plain spray bottle of water. If you have a mister, that'll work too, but if you have 16, 17 plants like me, you know, my arm starts to hurt when I keep misting over and over. So it's a little bit easier for me to use the spray bottle, which I've recently discovered. This here is by Miracle Grow. It's literally called Leaf Shine, and it does exactly what it says. It shines your leaves safely. I see a lot of gals on here that are using like oil to shine your leaves. Never put oil on your plants because oil attracts UV rays, and so with that you can burn and crispify your leaves, which is what happened to my first few plants because I kept rubbing oil on them. Get something that is specifically made for plants. All right, y'all, so I am ready to water these plants and get everything done, so let's just get on to it. All right, guys, so the first thing that I'm doing here is just filling up my gallon pitcher, and I'm only going to fill it up about halfway before I stop, and I add the fertilizer to it. Using the Algo Plus, I just add 2 teaspoons to that water. It's important not to pour the fertilizer over the water while you're measuring it out, or else it will spill into the water, making your water way too strong with fertilizer. At this point, I'm just adding some more water till I get it filled to the top. Be careful because your water will spill out sometimes of the top if you get it a little bit too full, but hey, it's just water, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. All right, guys, so this is my beautiful monstera named Jasmine, named after Jasmine Sullivan. And just an FYI, most of my plants are named after like Black celebrities, so you will see me kind of reference a lot of that, but she is always the one that I start with first because she's my biggest headache. She goes from looking dead to looking alive and everything in between. I'm going to water her first. She requires a lot of water, so typically I would not use the water meter on her, but I'm going to use it just to show you guys how I tell what's going on with her. So the water meter goes right into the soil, right here, kind of where the roots are. It's telling me that she's, you know, she's got good moisture, you know, but I know that she likes to be watered big time. So I'm going to water her anyway, and I'm going to water her thoroughly. This is Michelle, her neighbor, named after Michelle Obama, and we kind of do the same thing. Michelle likes to be watered as well. This is my favorite table. As you can see, it doesn't get a lot of light, and so I do have some artificial lights kind of helping the plants out. We have Eve, which is a Snow Queen pothos. I did have Eve at work for a long time, about 6 months, and I just felt she was getting to be too pretty to be at work, so I brought her back home and she's here with me now. Here we have Arlo. Arlo was a sick baby when I got her from Lowe's. I named her Arlo from the singer Arlo Parks. She's kind of like an up-and-coming artist, but I don't know, I love her music. But Arlo's doing well. She's been having some babies blooming, and so she's kind of getting over her sickness. This here is the baby rubber plant Sweetie. Sweetie was super small when I got her, and then one day she just exploded. I have her tied to 2 moss poles because of her size, and then I just saw about a week ago that she's sprouting another vine that is connected to her, so she's going to have 2 going up, so she's doing well. This here is Sade. So I named her Sade from the singer, of course, because when I got her she was super light, like almost like a neon color, but she's really darkened up since then. Y'all know Sade is light skinned, but you can kind of see it here. She's super light, but she's super beautiful. We do have some burnt leaves here. I think I underwatered her 1 week, and so her tips got a little bit brown, but she has recovered and she is pretty big at this point. And then we have Miss Solange, which is the showstopper. I'm really going to water Miss Solange here because Miss Solange loves water, and if she doesn't get enough water, she gets one of these, which is what she has right now. And we don't like brown leaves, so she's going to get her water. All right, guys, so already I'm getting low on water. We're like a quarter of the way down. This typically happens to me, so I usually have to make a new batch. I don't know if you guys can hear this on the camera, but there's dripping that actually is coming from Solange because she's on the wall. So when the water exits through the hole at the bottom, it just kind of hits the floor, which is fine. I haven't had any issues with it yet, so I don't mind it as long as she doesn't like mess up the paint or anything on the wall. So I just watered all of these, so we're moving on to what's in the office. So these plants here in front of the window, I call my sun hoggers. They are all kind of on a plant stand. I got this for my birthday actually a couple years ago from my little sister. So with these, they love the sun. So we have, of course, the ponytail palm, which his name is Serrani. Here is Frank. I named him after Frank Ocean because he's a blonde snake. So I just thought of like the blonde album and was like, oh yeah, that's the perfect name. Here is my fiddle leaf fig named Gracie. The name came from my friend Grace. She has a fiddle leaf fig that she named Tay Tay Figgy. And so I just felt like Gracie was like just appropriate. So we both have fiddle leaf figs that are named after each other. This here is one of my favorite plants. I mean, really? She is a Chinese evergreen. Her name is Kelly because my mom bought her for me. I mean, she truly looks unreal. Look at that. So I'm gonna go make some new water really quick and I'm gonna get to watering these. To this section over here, these are my older plants. So this is my bird of paradise named Birdman. I don't think I need to explain why. I have this super interesting snake plant. My mom also got me this one for my birthday a couple of years ago, and his name is Bernie, and not from Bernie Mac, but Bernie Sanders, baby. Like what? Over here I have my huge massive pothos here, which my neon one isn't really massive, but my golden pothos stretches all the way over here and down to there. Her name is Sierra, named after the dancer, singer, Sierra. And then next to her is Carrie, named after Carrie Hilson. And by the way, just check out this work on this stand. You guys wouldn't believe it, but I actually painted this stand. I got it for $10 at Goodwill, and I flip furniture, and so I did this. Yeah, so it's one of my favorite pieces that I've done that I flipped. Last but not least, here we have Journey, and she was named after Journey Smollett. So Journey Smollett is an actress, and I have her brother Jussie Smollett. That's the one that's at work, and I'm just not a big fan of that plant because like he just doesn't grow, he doesn't do anything, and so that's why I named him after Jussie Smollett, because Jussie Smollett is a hot mess, but she's a pretty huge snake plant. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and water all of these really quick, and then we'll go on to our next step. Alright, so we're finally done with all the watering. Now I'm going to move on to what I call the rotating process, which is when I basically go around and I rotate almost all of my plants to the other side so that they get long and tall. Alright guys, so pretty much everything is ready to be misted at this point. That's just me going around with a spray bottle and misting down the leaves. If I needed to shine them, I would, but I looked at them and I think that the pothos need shining, so I probably will do that, but other than that, everything else is just going to get misted. From Mason, and finally he just woke up, so he's gonna stick with us the rest of the video. I have some of my pothos here. My pothos are always dusty. I have no idea why. I don't know if it's because of where I keep them on the shelf or what it is, but they're always dusty. So I just wanted to show you guys real quick how I dust those pothos off and how beautiful they look after the fact. Sierra over here, right at the very top, I don't know if you guys can see, but she's pretty dusty. I just spray this kind of liberally, covering everything. When she was smaller, I used to be able to spray each individual leaf, but right now I just cannot do that. She just is way too big. So with this, I can kind of see where she's kind of pruning a little bit, which is normal with pothos. I think that pothos, they have so many leaves that it doesn't matter if you lose a couple. Okay, so she's doing well, so I'm just kind of like brushing her off, brushing off the dust. And you can do this with just water, but they look so much prettier if you just get that leaf shine. And I want to say it's like $7.99 on Amazon, or you can just find it at Home Depot or Lowe's, anything like that. Same thing with Carrie. She's looking pretty dusty here, so she's not as big, she's a little bit younger. And neon pothos just do not grow at the same rate that other ones do. I find that these grow a lot slower. I don't know why, but they just do. So they don't, well, it's not even that they grow slower, it's just that they don't vine as well. I mean, she has one vine here and she's almost, I would say, maybe a year old. And Sierra, I think, is a year and a half. So I just feel like she should be bigger, but you know what? To each plant its own. Now she's all shined up and beautiful as well. Alright guys, so the very last thing that I want to talk about is where exactly I get my plants and why. So the majority of my plants, minus about 2 of them, have come from Groovy Plants Ranch. It's in Marengo, Ohio, so if you're not from Ohio, then I'm sorry. But it's in this little country town, and it is just the cutest ranch ever. They have all kinds of plants. They have rare plants. Some of the plants there are $400, $500. Now, I have not paid that. I don't want y'all to think that I have, but I'm just saying, if you got it like that, go right ahead. The majority of my plants come from there, and this is why I avoid drugstores and home stores to buy my plants. First of all, they're always sick when I get them. They have some kind of, I don't know, spider mites, pests. They're just not well taken care of. And so that's more work for me. Like I said, I've only had a few that have survived. Is there something in the trash that you want? May, is there something in the trash that you want? Why you keep looking over there? Look at the camera, boy. With that being said, just be careful of doing that and just make sure that you have the proper tools. If your plant looks like it's getting sick, get it out of there. You know, cut those leaves, do whatever it is that you need to do to get that plant healed up. When it comes to being a beginner, it's important where you get your plants. So go to a nursery, go to a ranch, go somewhere that is going to take care of the plants and not just throw them in any kind of light, in any kind of circumstances so that they can just wither away and die. Because then you're going to think it's your fault when it's really the plant's fault. Isn't that right, May? So thank you guys so much for watching our video. Me and Mason really enjoyed this, even though he slept the majority of the time. But we thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.